Tottenham go to Ellen Road to take on Leeds United this weekend. Game week 7 already, the one before the international break. Should be a good game, but in today's video you can find everything from insights, stats, thoughts out of the game, predicted lineup, preferable lineup, score prediction, a quick look at Leeds too. All done very quickly for you, so please stay tuned to the very end. Keen to get you involved. It's a big game for both teams. If you're new, please like and subscribe, but let's get straight into it. So, Leeds United scored 6 goals in their last 5 matches. Cardallo, their goalkeeper, is the number 1, is ranked 2nd in saves per match in the competition with an average of 3.7 per game, and their new striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin has the most shots on target per match for Leeds United with a low 2. Tottenham have scored 9 goals in their last 5 matches, and Tottenham won the previous 4 meetings against Leeds United. So the final 4 games between the two sides have all been Spurs victories. So there we go, just a few stats for you there in terms of, to give you context in it. And also Tottenham are ranked first away from home this season with a very impressive record, haven't lost yet. So form coming into it though, Leeds United in the last 5 all competitions this is have drawn 3 games, lost 1 and won 1, and for Tottenham it's 3 draws and 2 wins. Here's at Ellen Road, which their capacity is 37,645. Weather forecast expected to be rain in Leeds, 11 degrees. It's a Saturday, 4th of October game, 12:30 p.m. UK times. It's the second game of the weekend because there is a Friday night game between Fulham and Bournemouth. Thomas Bramwell is your referee, and it's on TNT Sports. So there we go. Then let's run through the injury kind of situation. Then I want to give thoughts and get into score prediction, get into a lineup, and then eventually score prediction. So you should know coaches Daniel Farke, Leeds, Tottenham, Thomas Frank. Perry's out for Leeds, and Notto is expected to be out too. For Tottenham, it's Moana who's out still, Takai, Dragosin, Kulusevski, Maddison, Basuma potentially too, but also Solanke. It's a long injury list for Tottenham, which is looking at 7 or potentially 8 players, which isn't good. But head-to-head stats then, so there's been that many head-to-heads. So Leeds have won 2 and Tottenham won 5, and 0 have ended draws. That's impressive. So 0 meetings between these two sides have ended in a draw. Could this change in this game is the question, but I'll quickly talk about Leeds United. I've been impressed with their start to the season. I think Daniel Farke has learned a lot of lessons from his time in the Premier League with Norwich, which it didn't go as he expected. I think at Leeds it's different though. He's been given the money, £100 million was it, to spend. So it's completely different to what he got at Norwich, where he was, living off scraps almost. I don't mean that in a horrible way. He did have talent, for their both fullbacks are good. I mean, it was Lewis, wasn't it, and Aarons and Cantwell and Pookie. They had talent without, but it was an aging squad. There's no doubt about that. But Leeds this year have struck me of a team that have been more defensive than Leeds have been in the past, and Daniel Farke in his managerial career has been in the past known as Norwich as that guy who didn't change, attacking football, possession based, exciting to watch. That's changed a little bit. They've tightened up defensively, but for me they don't have that clinical edge still going forward, and I think Leeds fans are generally happy of the impact Calvert-Lewin's made since signing in the summer, especially in recent kind of couple of games. However, he's still not getting the goals enough for me. He's causing problems, but it doesn't matter if you're not getting the end product. So that's the thing that can really hurt Leeds, but I think they're going to have a close to perfect home record at Ellen Road this year, if I'm being honest with you, and that's really key. I actually don't think they will go down. I think they'll be, of course, in and around that. I think if you said for any Leeds fan right now, 17th place, take it or leave it, and they'd absolutely take it, as they probably would a point in this game. On screen would be my lineup then, and I'll talk you through my thinking behind it, because there are a few shocks in there. So I'm going to read it out first and then explain. Vicario in goal, backline of Porro, Danso, Van der Ven and a Doggy, a midfielder Paulinia, Gray and Bergval, and a forward line of Kudus, Scarlett and Simmons then. So I'm going to talk you through my choice of Vicario in goal. I think there will be an outside conversation within Spurs fans whether Kinski should start. I think the actual chances of Frank doing that in this game anyway is extremely low. Porro going right back, I think he's very good in the team, and I think Bodo Glimt should show the player that Porro is in terms of defensively vulnerable and quite poor at times, even though he's improved defensively in the last year. Let's say he's improved, no doubt about it. He's still vulnerable generally defensively, but offers so much going forward, and that's why we needed him in this game. Danso and Van der Ven as the centre backs. I think there's a chance that Romero will probably make this game. Apparently he's back in training. I personally think he'll be okay and he'll start. But even if he was, I wouldn't start him. Not being funny, and that's nothing against Romero. He's our captain and for me our best defender and one of our best. Actually, I'll say it, our best player for me is Romero. Just before the international break, why take that risk? I just don't want him to play and get injured. For me, that'd be an absolute nightmare. You know, he's going to play for Argentina anyway. To be fair. And then a doggy left back. I mean, it's harsh on Spence because I really like the guy and I think he's fantastic. But it's just peculiar about rotation. You know, him playing the last game against Bodo. You bring in a doggy. Nothing more than that. Paulini here again, it makes sense for him to start. I mean, he only come on against Bodo. I'd go with Gray, who really impressed me in the 8. It's a couple of times now he's impressed me this season. I think it was Brighton, wasn't it? But most recently Bodo coming off the bench to get an assist. You'd think he'd be in a 6, but he's actually been really good in the 8 role the last couple of appearances, of course, against his former club Leeds. I believe his brother Harry Scarfe is injured for Leeds. You didn't read him out there, but I think he is. Bergvall will go in the 10. I think he's been fantastic recently and is simply undroppable. But you could say the same about Pat Matasar, and this is harsh on Ben's as well. What a great headache for Thomas Frank to have. Forward line, I'd have Mohamed Kudus at right wing, just offers that something different. Xavi Simons on the left, preferably like him in the 10, but I just find it so hard to fit him in there. This could be a make or break game for Simons. He'll really make his case in a tough game, in a tough atmosphere like this, or he's going to really struggle because of that atmosphere. I'll go Dane Scarlett up top. That's the real surprise. You know, Richarlison, I mean, he just get in dangerous positions like against Bodo, do nothing about that goal, and he's a frustrating player at times, but, you know, he causes problems, he's a nuisance, but I just see him as a player off the bench to utilise more in this game, and I just look, he's in nothing against Richarlison, it's more Scarlett, to be honest with you. I look at him and go, when's he going to get that opportunity? Same with a lot of our younger players. How do we know if they're ready, or A, and B, if they're good enough at all, if we don't give them opportunities? So this might sound crazy, and I promise you I'm not a lunatic. You know, I watch football closely, I like to think I have a decent and okay anyway understanding of football in Tottenham, but I would start Scarlett in this game. I do recognise though that it's a tough atmosphere to put him into, but why not have that learning experience? So I'm not saying Scarlett should start, you know, or he must start rather. I think he could start and potentially, yes, he should. It's not like a needs must, but I think it would be a good thing to do. In terms of predicted lineup then, which I think Frank will do to change from that, that's where it does get interesting. So where I think Frank would kind of differ is the thing. It's always tough to know. I think Frank's a manager that goes by game basis, but I don't think that team be identical. I think he'd go with Richarlison over Scarlett. I think there's one. I think he'd probably have Benson or Paulini in there for that defensive solidarity, I think, and maybe have like a Bergvall in front of him or a Star. I don't know. I think definitely he starts like Simons on the left. So if I had to predict, I think go Richarlison instead of Scarlett, and probably, it's tough. I think he'd go with, what did he go with? I tell you what, let's just stick to that one change I think that Frank will make. It's really tough for him, like I can tell I'm struggling here. Score prediction then, I think it'll be really tough, and part of me worries that we will lose this game going into an international break. It feels so Tottenham, but you know me, I don't like to predict Tottenham to lose. Deep down, if I'm honest with you, I think we could lose this game, but I'm going to predict a draw, because we've drawn quite a few recently. So I'm going to go with the 1-1 draw. Get your score predictions in the comments below. I think for Leeds, Calvert-Lewin will score. And for Tottenham, I'm hoping Mohamed Kudus get his first goal, which has been much deserved. Got a good start to the season he's had, and what a great player and great signing he's been. By the way, just last quick thing. Is this a game, a question to you guys, where Ben Score and Paulini should start together? I totally agree with the case that fans have made. Both good players, but they both do a similar job. And I'm opposed to playing them both together on a regular basis anyway. But in a game like this, not because it's Leeds, they're a newly promoted team for goodness sake, but because it's Ellen Road, it may sound silly. I think that makes it tougher for a team to go to. If we were at home, I feel confident, but I think just because it's at Ellen Road, I have in my head, you know, what Spurs are like, hostile atmospheres, and it'd be the same as St James's Park in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup against Newcastle, but we have got better, you know, I think over the year, well, recently anyway, these kind of atmospheres. We proved it last season under Ange, so fingers crossed. Would you take a point as well? I'll let you know in the comments below. I'm going to say no, because you need to start not accepting a point. Of course, it depends on the context is vital, it depends on the situation. I'm really happy with some of the points you've got recently, but you can't settle for the point, and I feel like maybe we are as good as we are to come back and show resilience. But a whole different topic for another day, but that is your match preview. I hope we covered everything in the video. Anything you want to mention, agree with, disagree with, highlight, you let me know in the comments below, because I always read and reply to, I like to say, every comment, but I'm not going to say that in case I don't. The majority of comments, if not, I will always answer you eventually, even if it's not immediately. I do check them, but sometimes they do miss them on YouTube, unfortunately. But for now, a massive come on you Spurs, enjoy the game, and a massive come on you Spurs.